Well, good morning, dear Dharma friends. Have we got sound? Yes, thank you. A poem picked itself this morning. Seems to me I read it recently, but it's a beauty.
Are you recording, Robert?
I'm not. Why do we record? But I'll record. Do the ritual.
Recording in progress.
There we are. We're also live to Facebook and YouTube. It seems as though that's functioning okay. There's a green bouncing bar for sound. This is a poem from Naomi Shahabnai, a Palestinian poet who lives in New York City, from several years back, but still fits beautifully. It's called Wandering Around in the Albuquerque Airport. It's a poem about love. After learning my flight was detained 4 hours, I heard the announcement. If anyone in the vicinity of Gate 4A understands any Arabic, please come to the gate immediately. Well, one does pause these days. Gate 4A was my own gate, however, and I went there. An older woman in full traditional Palestinian dress, just like my grandma wore, was crumpled to the floor, wailing loudly. "Help," said the flight service person. "Talk to her. What is her problem? We told her the flight was going to be 4 hours late, and she did this." I put my arm around her and spoke to her haltingly. "Shu dua, shu bibduk, habibti shtani shway min fadlik, sho bit suwi." The minute she heard any words she knew, however poorly used, she stopped crying. She thought our flight had been canceled entirely. She needed to be in El Paso for some major medical treatment the following day. I said, No, we're fine. You'll get there, just late." "Who is picking you up?" "Let's call him and tell him." We called her son and I spoke with him in English. I told him I would stay with his mother till we got on the plane and would ride next to her, Southwest. She talked to him and we called her other sons just for the fun of it. Then we called my dad and he and she spoke for a while in Arabic and found out, of course, they had 10 shared friends. Then I thought, just for the heck of it, why not call some Palestinian poets I know and let them chat with her? This all took about 2 hours. She was laughing a lot by then, telling about her life, answering questions. She had pulled a sack of homemade mamoul cookies, little powdered, sugary, crumbly mounds stuffed with dates and nuts, out of her bag, and was offering them to all the people at the gate. To my amazement, not a single person declined one. It was like a sacrament. The traveler from Argentina, the traveler from California, the lovely woman from Laredo. We were all covered with the same powdered sugar and smiling. There are no better cookies. And then the airline broke out the free beverages from huge coolers, non-alcoholic, and the 2 little girls for our flight, one African American and one Mexican American, ran around serving us all apple juice and lemonade, and they were covered with powdered sugar too. And I noticed my new best friend, by now we were holding hands, had a potted plant poking out of her bag, some medicinal thing. With green furry leaves, such an old country traveling tradition, always carry a plant. Always stay rooted somewhere. And I looked around that gate of late and weary ones and thought, this is the world I want to live in, the shared world. Not a single person at the gate, once the crying and confusion had stopped, has seemed apprehensive about any other person. They took the cookies. I wanted to hug all those other people too. This can still happen anywhere. Not everything is lost. I guess that's an admonition to be careful what news we swim in. So let us swim in the present moment. Let us find a way to bring our bodies to uprightness. Or if because of pain you need to be lying down or leaning somehow, lean or lie consciously. If it's your shoulder hurting, support your arm as best you can. It is Wednesday, the 6th of July, 2022. This is a Zoom meeting and broadcast to Facebook and YouTube of the Portland Insight Meditation Community. We've been walking together for several decades. Let us remind ourselves of the refuge in the Buddha, in the Dharma, and the Sangha. Refuge in being awake, and awake to what actually is, to the way things are. And we do it in the company of our wonderful friends. We have friends from a long time ago, 2,600 years at least. And we participate in the mystery of being present, the mystery of being awake. And each breath, with its beginning, middle, and ending, offers itself as an anchor here in the present moment. Mindfulness is likened to the sun. It shines on everything without distinction. The most luminous, refined awareness of the subtleties of breathing or a wildly wandering mind. Mindfulness is the same. Oh, this is what's happening right now. This moment is like this. And there are our 5 great categories of hindrances to deeply seeing, to deeply knowing. There's wanting something, craving, desiring. There is wanting not, pushing away, disliking, aversion. There can be restlessness, agitation, and worry. There can be sloth and torpor, dull, sleepiness. There can be doubt. And there can be a whole palette of emotions. Abiding in the present moment with the sensations, the actual sensations of breathing as a touchstone, a home base, a handrail. And remembering that we practice with the intention of bare attention, just the facts, the actual sensations of in-breathing and out-breathing. this could be a moment in which the mind is very quiet, in which each breath comes out of no-thingness, not surprising, but clear. Oh, here's the beginning of a breath. It rises to fullness as sensations in the chest and abdomen, or maybe at the nostrils. And there's no competition with thoughts or emotions. It's just this rather restful, concentrated state. Or the mind might be more restless than that. It could be thinking a lot, could be worrying or planning. There could be discomfort in the body, which is perhaps clamoring for attention, maybe pain. The strategy that we use, discovered by the Buddha, is turning with full-hearted attention to whatever it is that happens. If there's a worry, then we bring awareness right into the worry. From the very outset, from the first time we ever sit down, this practice is suffused in all directions by nonviolence. We're not grabbing the mind violently and dragging it back to the breath. Here, you behave. That'll never work. We're not shooting down thoughts like planes in the sky or something. We are embracing the truth of our experience. I aspire to love and accept myself exactly as I find myself in this moment. If there's suffering or pain of any kind, it is my intention, to the best of my ability, to hold myself in sweet, loving, kind compassion. There is really no predicting what life will send in our direction. The ripening of profound ancient streams of karma produce the context of this moment. How shall we respond? Shall we be lost in the mind, in reactivity, in beliefs, in ideologies, in emotions? Or shall we be awake? The descending and ripening karma as vipaka, as the circumstance of this moment. And arising in the present moment, a knowing, a loving acceptance and knowing and compassion. And then the planting of new seeds, the garden. How shall I respond to this moment of pain or this moment of desire, this moment of confusion or disliking, this moment of whatever it is? Remembering that mindfulness is like the sun. Whatever happens, pleasant, unpleasant, unruly, very orderly, the expansive mind that has room for everything and the contracted mind that is unhappy and judgmental. with great patience and growing patience. We wake up in the middle of a trance state of some kind. Maybe it's a very familiar one. We think of it as our personality. Maybe it's just some idle wondering about something. Something I'll look up on the net later, or maybe not. Or maybe there's some event coming up in life which requires some preparation, and so the mind is preparing for that, obsessing maybe even. If we tune into our deep longings, we could say if we tune into the heart, we all want the same thing. We want to be safe and at ease. We want our loved ones to be safe. Feel that place in yourself that knows what it really wants, that really wants to feel connected and belonging and safe and loved and loving. And we can put a few words on it, perhaps. Let them be your own words, but here's a few possibilities. I long to be really happy. May that be so. May I be really happy and content. May I be free from fear and danger, both inner and outer danger. May I live with ease and grace today, now. May I be liberated now. And we don't practice in total isolation. We have each other. And just as there is within each of us this longing, this wanting for things to be stable and for there to be love and connection and support. Now on the out-breath, maybe think of someone in our group or a loved one, someone it's easy to love. On the out-breath, may you be really happy. Imagine them. Imagine their face. Imagine them in the environment in which you know them, perhaps. May you be really, really happy and content. May this person live with ease and grace, surrounding them with your well wishes. May I be happy. Breathing out, may this loved one or loved ones be free from fear and danger. May they live with ease and grace. May they be liberated. May they remember to be awake. Why would we not wish our loved ones well? And so we participate in this mystery of life, in which we get a few breaths to dance upon the earth, embracing these moments. And if there's something you know you'll be doing today, maybe it's driving the car or who knows what, it could be anything. If you're looking forward to something or the opposite, not looking forward to something, why not imagine doing it very mindfully, maybe slowing down 5%. Why not be more loving and patient and generous today, even if just for a few minutes? It doesn't detract from life at all. In fact, it makes it much richer. And now, here, this moment, please become aware of the body in contact with the cushion or the chair, the life in the hands and fingers. Notice the life of the face. The life in the eyes as organs, as matter. And now noticing the intention to allow the eyes to open, to will the eyes to open, and then allowing that to occur, making that occur, and observing what occurs, what happens, what's born, seeing, seeing. Seeing and knowing it. Let's remember the mood, whatever mood is present, keep that in mind. And I like to look from picture to picture for a little moment. Thank you for being here. For having this morning, another morning, begin like this. Thank you for being here, Jim Dalton. So how is it in your world this morning? What does mindfulness reveal? There's breathing in and breathing out over here. I'm a little tired this morning and foolishly around 9:30 I thought, there was that series that they advertised. I think I'll go look at it. For 2 hours I watched something absolutely mindless. Utterly mindless. Exciting, sort of. I could have sat for 2 hours or slept for 2 hours. How strange. And now it's now. So if anyone wishes to share something, simply unmute and we will be here in attentive presence.
Good morning.
I hear someone. iPhone. Hi.
This is Cody.
Hello, Cody.
Hello. I just wanted to share a story or just share a thought that I've been having during meditation about the first itch that I experienced as a meditator.
Uh-huh.
And it was in September of 2006. And so I've been thinking about it a lot because the first one was sort of the hardest to not pay attention to or ignore. And then since it was so long ago now, I just think of it as the way that I deal with something I don't like, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So I guess I mean politically as well, like anything I don't like, it's things I don't want to pay attention to. You know?
Uh-huh.
So I thought I would share that with the group.
And did you ignore the itch or go deeply into it? What was your strategy?
The first one was scary because I wasn't sure exactly what would happen if I didn't scratch the itch, which means I think I was mostly afraid of the unknown.
Right.
And part of my brain was creating scenarios that could be detrimental to me, like mosquitoes with AIDS in them, which might have landed on me. You know? But all of those were like delusions, I've come to understand.
Fantasies, right.
Yeah, so eventually I was able to do that every time, I guess is my point.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
And just one point of information. To the best of my knowledge, AIDS does not transmit through mosquitoes. There are some bad things that do, malaria, Zika, etc. But the mind can create any kind of fear.
So just to push back a bit, you're worried that my delusions weren't based in scientific reality? Is that...
Well, I just don't want people to get more frightened of mosquitoes than they need to be. Yes, and my delusions aren't based in scientific reality either. Thank you.
Yeah, the problem with science is that you can use it however you want in your own mind, I guess.
I guess. I like to think of what we're doing here as science. I think the Buddha was a scientist. He had created a series of hypotheses, and then he went about testing them. He created a set of experiments to see if it's true. Can we, in fact, reduce suffering? Is it true that everything really is impermanent? Is it really true? Is it true that when the hindrances and the various obscurations are purified, are seen beyond, that what remains is love and compassion? Those are really interesting hypotheses.
Hi, Robert. It's Dave Mayer.
Mr.
Hi.
Mayer.
I went on an interesting journey this morning. Yesterday afternoon, I started having symptoms and tested positive for COVID.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and I am deep, deep in it. And I'm isolated from my wife upstairs. We've got a whole house fan that's sucking the air up so that nothing goes down.
Right.
And oh, the symptoms. And I was lying there in bed and I was looking at my watch thinking, oh, they're all sitting. Oh. And then I thought, you know what? Maybe I should just go sit and look at what COVID looks like. And so I signed on, and it's been an interesting journey. Looking at the sensations of all the symptoms, the fogginess. I have a monster headache, and it's particularly acute right up here. And I just turned toward it and went into it, and my eyes started tearing. And I just started thinking, okay, where's the ouch? Where's the ouch part of that sensation?
Huh.
The hatred of it, and I found it and kind of embraced it. And now I just have this headache that, it's still there. It's just as intense as it was, but I'm not so tied up in the ouch of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just an interesting exploration of being sick and feeling crummy. You've talked about doing that a lot. I think this is the first time I've actually done it. It's anyway. I may not hang on till the end here, but just wanted to share that experience.
Such a marvelous opportunity, for I am of the nature to age, I am of the nature to sicken. I am you, David Mayer, are of the nature to fall ill.
Apparently, yes.
Apparently.
Yeah, and I, when you were getting into loving kindness, I was looking around for something to give loving kindness to, and I thought, oh, how about the virus? Why, there's this virus. It came out of the universe, and maybe it's a consequence of what we as humans have done to the planet. Who knows? But it's here in my body. It came in of its own accord. It's part of this thing and I just opened up, and it was quite remarkable to the space that created from that.
Mm-hmm. Well, have a wonderful time being sick. And
it's much better now that I've sat, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and don't hesitate to go right into the symptoms again and again and again. The suffering, as you saw, the suffering really diminishes remarkably. Strange thing, isn't it?
Good morning, Robert. Good morning, Sangha. It's Joe.
Hi, Joe. Looking for you.
Hi.
Where are you hiding? Oh, there you are. No, there you are. I got you now.
Okay. I had kind of a similar experience, but it was all about politics and world events last week, where I literally day after day just kind of felt like I was getting hammered with more and more ludicrousness and craziness, and I finally had to check out for a minute. But it's very similar to everything else that I've learned since I've become a meditator. When I finally just went into it and accepted it, it helped to watch The Great Dictator and to watch videos from the past, to accept that, as you have said, Ruth communicated to you that they're always having a war somewhere,
Yeah.
and that the political problems that are resurfacing are the same in some ways that they've been decades ago. And rather than getting wrapped up in the strangeness and not understanding the motivations and feeling overwhelmed, what I realized was I was in my brain. I was in my what about this, what about that mind. And when I let go of being obsessed or trying to understand that and went into my heart and connected to my heart mind about loving the world, finding the love in myself, look at where I'm at, look at the world as it is right now, I noticed that I live in a beautiful place and it's summertime and I'm fortunate to be where I'm at. And I have friends, I have a life that is worth living. And I was able to check out of my connection of my mind to what about this and what about that, and see the world as it really was for me. And the gratitude, the love, the equilibrium, the happiness all came back. So I spun out on a turn, but I'm back on the track and life is good again. But it can be overwhelming, whether it's illness or whether it's personal problems or world problems. It can overwhelm us all. And I'm glad to be back here again.
Thank you, Joe.
Yep.
Yeah, it really, it's such grace to be able to see thinking as thinking. And to come home to the present moment.
Good morning, Robert.
Hello,
This
Janice.
is Janice. Wanted to follow up with Dave's comments, and that I just got back from 2 weeks in Sweden where I contracted COVID along with all the other people that I was with. Every one of us got it.
Huh.
And so I immediately went to, I am of the nature to get sick. I'm not beyond the sickness, because I haven't been sick for years. And it was awful, 102 fever and sore throat. I wasn't able to really get in there and look at it though. Like Dave, I guess I don't know. I tried turning towards the pain, but seemed to be overwhelmed by the illness. So it's just maybe more practice.
It
An
sounds,
opportunity.
it sounds to me, Janice, like you were there in the midst of the pain, being overwhelmed by the pain, by the sickness, and you also knew that was happening.
Yes.
And you were present for it. I think you may have an idea that if you do this, then it should be la di da, very sick, but I feel great. And when in
Yeah.
fact you're meditating just fine and realizing this feels like shit, and I don't like, and
Exactly.
here's the mind resisting, and that all we can do is be present in it.
Mm. Hmm. Yeah, then the hindrance is I don't like this. I
Right.
don't
I
want
want
this.
to second what Robert said, because I had that moment as I was sitting here and the pain was just so extreme. And I thought, oh my God, I can't take this. And I thought, wait, that's overwhelming. Let me turn and look at the sensation of overwhelming, and then the hatred. There's always something that can be recognized and turned toward. That I don't know. And it's funny. I had a cat hair land on my nose, so I had this little itch on my nose. I got really irritated that this cat hair itch was taking me away from all of these horrible symptoms, and it was just a whole interesting collection of things to turn to. Anyway.
Yeah. In terms of this practicing with sickness, I recommend that you read a little article that I wrote. It's a long time ago now. It's 23 years ago, when I ruptured my quadriceps tendon. It's on my website. If you look under, I think it's resources. I think it's called "The Swish of a Horse's Tail," and it's the story of my being in the mountains with my daughter and descending and having my knee blow up, having all my quads pull off my right knee. And then I got to ride a Black Hawk helicopter out of the mountains. And then I had a wonderful orthopedic surgeon put it together. And he said, it's hurt a little bit up till now. After the surgery is when this is really going to hurt. And he was right. And I was improperly medicated, and I had these horrible itches that would come, just vile, virulent itches. And in the first half of the article, in the fall and then the rescue and all that, there was a spaciousness. I was in trauma, and there was a kind of lots of love around. And then it was after the surgery when the medication, I was, as I said, improperly medicated. And I would wake up around 3 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning, and having taken as much medication as I was supposed to, and then I want to meditate and get out of it. I want to meditate and have it be spacious and kind and loving, and I'm a meditator, blah blah blah. And what I discovered, there was a practice I discovered that was, and I knew that all there was before me was being conscious in this horrible pain until dawn, several hours. And I developed or fell into a helpful practice, which was, this is suffering humanity. This is what it's like to be a human being awake in the middle of the night in really severe, intractable pain. And to be there, and distraction isn't working, and concentration isn't there enough to quote, get out of the pain. But this is what it's like. And it's a kind of a variation on Tonglen, taking and sending practice. How many other people in the world are lying here awake right now with this kind of pain in their right leg or in their heart or in their shoulder? Or so anyway, there's that we have the notion that if we meditate right, then we won't have the pain. And I don't think that's true. It's the extra piece, the added piece that we add on, that I shouldn't have this, or I won't, somebody did something wrong, or we're trying to get out of it. But the practice is to fully be in the middle of it, including the sense of failure and hopelessness and despair, and that's all part of it. I'm saying this at length, Janice, because I can hear you're not validating that you actually were there. You were actually in the middle of the practice. It's not like you failed somehow. Maybe someday when you practice more, you'll be able to do it. You were there in the middle of it. And my guess is it pried your heart open some more. When someone else says, yeah, I've had COVID and I had 102 fever and so on, you will get it. It's like, right. Yeah. COVID. What a thing, huh? Well, my friends, I need to go soon. Anybody sitting with something you'd like to share?
Hi, it's Joy. Just one quick thing. I think I mentioned once I was in the hospital with surgery and I felt really awful in the night. And I realized, oh, this is the suffering of suffering. And what happened was that it activated the incredible kindness of this healthcare aide. And I thought that's another feature of suffering, is that you can find around you very compassionate helpers. And I found that helpful to understand that I was not alone in my suffering.
Yeah. Well, as you probably know, I have a real soft spot in my heart for the ICU nurses that helped me during my days of my one brain surgery and one skull surgery. That they were angels. They were amazing to me. Caring.
Well, I hadn't known that before, that this amazing kindness existed towards people in pain and suffering. So, and now I see it around me more and more often, that I can say, in trouble and pain, you will find the compassionate helpers around you.
Which means you're open to it now, and they will be there.
I know it was actually amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, may all beings everywhere share in the merits of our practice, especially ourselves and those close to us. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam.
Mangalam.
Bhavatu Sabe
Mangalam.
Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Have a wonderful day, choir mates.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
Take
Bye,
care,
Dave.
Dave. Drink lots of water.
All right. Thanks, Dave.
All right. Goodbye to friends on